Greetings and thank you for joining us for another edition of To Your Health here on Facebook Live. Look, we've all seen the stories in the news and heard about them also as well about the blood donor shortage that is facing our country today. And for those of you that don't know, blood donations are used in treatments for cancer. They're also used in traumatic and chronic injuries. There's a wide range of why we need blood donations and why we need to make sure that there is enough blood to donate in emergency situations. What many of you don't know that right now is also an extreme critical time for the need for blood donors and blood donations, because around the holidays people tend to travel, they don't attend events for signing up for donating blood. Also, because of a lot of the weather incidents that have happened across our country, a lot of the blood donor sites have had to shut down. Also, some drives that were supposed to be held were canceled. So there's a lot of things that keep adding on and on to the shortage that we already have. But joining us today is Brianna Rogers, who is the GBMC Blood Drive Coordinator, who's going to talk about what we are doing to address the blood shortage here in our region, in the state, and as part of the force behind getting more blood donations for across the country. Bree, thank you for joining us today. We got a lot to get to, so let's get started. Why does GBMC find themselves holding these blood drives? Why is it important for GBMC to have a blood drive?
So it's really important for GBMC to have a blood drive. We, as you know, are a health organization system-wide, and giving back to the community is really something that we hold at our core values. So holding blood drives essentially gives back to the community, and at the same time, what part of our mission is to provide the care that we would want for our own loved ones. So if a loved one needed a blood transfusion, we would want there to be enough blood to give that to our loved one. So that's kind of basically the reason why we're hosting blood drives at GBMC.
What is the process that goes behind organizing a blood drive at GBMC?
So the process actually starts at the most current drive for the next drive. So at the most current drive, we will start recruiting our regular donors. So everyone who comes in that day that donates, we'll ask them, hey, here's when the next one is. Would you like to sign up? And then as we get a little bit closer to the drives, we start promoting in different ways. We have different outlets such as social media, or we use flyers, or there's a bunch of different emails that we send. And also everyone that donates gets a thank you letter and things like that, reminding them of the next drive. So,
is there a certain way that someone can find out more information about our blood donor program, or who should they contact to find out more information about the program?
Sure. That would be me, Bree Rogers. My number is 443-849-2459 at GBMC. I know that's you probably didn't write that down, but okay.
Well, it's up there, so
or
at least the website is up.
You can visit
the
website as well, www.gbmc.org/redcross.
So via this website, is this the way to schedule an appointment, or is this this website address just ways for you to find out about the blood drive and the blood drives at GBMC?
So the website is actually just to schedule an appointment. It'll redirect to the American Red Cross site where you can schedule the appointments that for all the drives that are coming up to at GBMC.
Joining us today is Bree Rogers, GBMC Blood Drive Coordinator, talking about what the GBMC healthcare system is doing to address the blood donor shortage in our region. When and where can someone donate at GBMC, and how often are these blood drives held?
So someone can donate at GBMC at our Civiletti Conference Center. That is where we hold the drives. They start at 5:30 in the morning at the first appointment, and then they end at 4:30 p.m., which would be the last appointment. And the drives are spaced. We have 4 a year. So there's one in November, there's one in June, and there's one in August, and there's one in February as well.
When is the one in February? What's the date on that?
It's February 14th, Valentine's Day. So if you want to bring your Valentine and you guys want to give some blood together, so it's February 14th in the Civiletti Conference Center at GBMC from 5:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
So, Valentine's Day, right? If you have a heart, donate some blood. That's the day to do it. February 14th at GBMC Civiletti Conference Center. Bree, what's the average number of people that you find that normally attend the blood drives? I know, sometimes it depends when they're being held. Summertime could be a little bit different than the fall or the spring. But just generically speaking, what's the average number?
Yeah, so like you said, it can vary based on the time of year, especially if it's back to school time and it's still time that people are doing vacations and things like that. But we generally see about 80 to 100 donors at one blood drive.
Again, joining us today, Bree Rogers, GBMC Blood Drive Coordinator. If you have any questions about our blood drive program or the next blood drive that we're hosting, please feel free to post your question in the comments section on our Facebook Live page, and make sure that we'll address it with Bree. Bree, which areas of medicine do you find are the highest users of blood products for patients?
The highest users at GBMC are going to be our intensive care units. So that's our surgical intensive care unit, our medical intensive care unit, and our neonatal intensive care unit. Anyone having surgery is obviously going to be at a higher need for the blood products. And then after that, usually our highest users are our oncology and our infusion patients, and then the occasional mother in L&D who might need a transfusion as well.
Okay. Let's try maybe go a little bit deeper in on this one. If I want to donate, how do I know if I'm eligible to donate blood? What is the process?
So that's a very good question because I get that a lot. People, they don't know. They've either traveled out of the country or they have some sort of health condition where they don't know if they are able to donate, but they want to. So we always send them to the American Red Cross eligibility phone number, which is 1-866-236-3276.
Give that number one more time.
1-866-236-3276.
And I'm sure knowing your eligibility goes a long way before you make the appointment or even just decide to show up the day of the blood drive. Does the donor need to know their blood type before they come to donate blood?
No, actually, you do not need to know your blood type before coming to donate blood.
We had a question that came in through Facebook, and Zoe asks, are there certain groups of people that are unable to donate blood, and why?
So there are a various amount of people that may be ineligible to donate blood. A lot of times it comes from travel outside of the U.S. That kind of changes the different areas kind of frequently. So that's why we always encourage people, if you've traveled outside the U.S., to please call the line. Other certain, health conditions are also along those lines, but it's always best to be sure, and it's always best to just call that helpline and see if you can actually donate.
There was a question that popped into my head before that I forgot to ask you. When I asked you about how many people attend the blood drive at GBMC, you talked about the quantity of those that attend. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. But if I was to ask you this question, if you can go into a little bit more the age groups of the people that you find that are the highest donors? Is it, like, for example, people maybe 55 and older? Is it younger people maybe in their mid to late 20s to early 30s? What do you tend to find at our donor when we hold a blood drive?
So we get a pretty good range of people. A lot of times those that are in, maybe their mid-20s to 30s, they'll come as like a bunch of group of friends. Maybe they all work on the same unit together. They'll really encourage each other to come out and donate. But a lot of our frequent donors are in probably, I'd say, 40 to 60. And they've been coming every single time we've had a drive. They're very dedicated, so.
How should donors prepare for their donation? What are some things that they can do before they come and donate, or what are some of the things they should not do before they come and donate?
So if you know you're going to be donating, one of the best things you can do, which is the best thing you could do anyway health-wise, is to drink a lot of water. So you're going to want to drink a lot of water. You're going to want to eat foods that are iron-rich, which actually, if you sign up for our blood drive, we send out an email beforehand that kind of tells you these are the items that you should be taking in before you come to donate, things like spinach or a big steak. So if you really want an excuse to eat a big steak, now's the time to do it. And then also to make sure that you eat a meal before you come to donate. So whether that be breakfast or lunch or whatever time your donation is.
Is there a certain medication that people should not take before they come and donate? Like, for example, I don't know, I took a Tylenol, last night because I had a headache, or somebody might be on some blood pressure medications. Is there certain parameters that we set up where, people can't donate because of certain medication that they take?
So there are certain parameters, but if you wanted the specifics, that's probably more for our next segment. Our professionals will, or our next set of people will know the answer to that. But
okay.
yeah.
Okay. How much blood is taken from someone when they donate? Do you know approximately about how much?
So it's about 1 pint of blood is taken, and it can save up to 3 lives.
So the process, because you come in, you check in, you donate. About how long does the process take? And can you just take us, maybe a little bit step by step of that process?
Sure. So we generally tell our donors to set aside about 45 minutes to an hour, just because first you have to start. We actually send our rapid pass, which is what you're going to need to be able to check in the first place, or else you're going to have to read through a packet that kind of says these are the different parameters and the things that you should be aware of and things like that. So they require that you read that, but it's helpful using the rapid pass because you get to do that beforehand and then you don't have to. And then you go through your health history, and then after your health history, the blood donation process begins.
Joining us today is Bree Rogers, GBMC Blood Drive Coordinator. If you have any questions for Bree today, please put them in the comment section on our Facebook page, and we'll make sure we'll address them with Bree. Bree, one more time, what is the best way to set up an appointment if you want to come and donate blood, or what's the best way to find out more information about our blood donor program?
The best way would be to contact me. My email is brogers@gbmc.org, and my phone number is 443-849-2459, which is all information that we can leave on the post if you guys are really interested in learning more about our program.
Before we came on our show today, we talked about the history, your health history. And a lot of people are like, well, do I always have to give or answer the questions about my health history when I want to just donate blood? And, you and I spoke, about this before, and you're like, well, yeah, it is important. But for our audience and those watching us on Facebook today, let's talk about it. Why is the health history questions important? And why should people just understand that that's just part of the process?
Yeah, so the health history questions are actually really important because of the fact that our drives are 56 days apart. So in that time, something regarding your health could have changed, and they can't be sure that it's exactly the same as it was the last time you came to donate. Just as when you go to the doctor's office and the nurse comes in and asks, is everything the same? Are you still taking the same medication? It's pretty much the same kind of process. So
we talked about certain medications not to take before you donate, or certain parameters that, it might not be the right time to do that. But what are some of the activities, let's talk about, after donating that should people avoid? Like, for example, I gave blood during the summer, and the person that was taking my blood, I'm like, oh, all right, so after I'm done here, I'm going to go on a 4-mile run, for example. And they're like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea, especially in the heat and humidity of the summertime. So, but besides that, what are some of the things you're not supposed to do after you donate blood? And I guess running 4 miles in the heat is one of them, right?
Yes, that would be one of them. So heavy exercise, whether it be weightlifting, running, you kind of want to steer away from that if you have to exercise, which I know is a big part of everyone's lives. You can walk. I mean, that's for sure not going to put you above the limit of what you can and can't do after you donate blood. Also, steer away from having alcoholic drinks for maybe at least 24 hours after your blood donation, and then drink plenty of water, as I said before. But
we just had a question come through Facebook, and Laura asked, do people need an appointment, again, to give blood?
So that's actually a really great question, because you do not need an appointment. We do accept walk-ins on the day of the drive. We do recommend that you make an appointment, just because, then you have a set time. And if you come at a certain time where it's really busy, you're going to have to wait a little while and things like that. So if you had an appointment and you had the rapid pass done, it kind of just speeds up the process a little bit more.
Again, joining us today on To Your Health is Bree Rogers, GBMC Blood Drive Coordinator. Let me ask you this question. How do you feel at the end of a blood drive? Since you're the one that kind of puts it together, you help with the registration, you help, in the bigger cause. What if you could explain a little bit, how do you feel after every blood drive? Besides, I'm sure exhausted, but how do you feel after that?
Yeah, exhausted was my first one, but it's a good exhaustion, because it's so heartwarming to know that we are helping everyone that we can. And even after the blood drives, like just seeing the amount of people and my dedicated donors, because I sit out there and I talk with them, and that's kind of like my time to catch up, like what's going on in the last 56 days since we had another blood drive, like that kind of thing. But it's just really great to know that we're helping other people, and we're really giving back to our community in every way that we can.
I think and I know I asked the question, but I'm going to ask it again. I just want to come back and just summarize a little bit. Again, eligibility restrictions or requirements for donating blood. Let's hit that one more time, because I know that's probably one of the biggest questions you get when people come either in person to register or probably try to register online.
Yep. So that eligibility number again is 1-866-236-3276.
One question that you and I spoke about, again, before we came on the show today, was about people getting paid to donate blood. Through GBMC and our blood drives, do people get paid to donate blood?
No, people do not get paid, but they do get different perks through our blood drive program. Do you want me to go into?
Yeah, please tell me the perks.
So if you sign up to donate blood, you are given a GBMC meal card, and you are given free parking if you're a community member, a Gene Stay Pass if you are an employee, and then our new thing that we've been doing is we have buckets from Texas Roadhouse. They're a $110 value, so they include, entree cards and sauce and peanuts and things like that, and you are automatically entered into the raffle to win one of those buckets.
Our next blood drive is when?
February 14th from 5:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Can you imagine Valentine's Day and winning one of those fantastic prizes?
I know.
I mean, come on, that's perfect. Let me ask you a question. Since you're the blood drive coordinator, when certain people ask you, why should I donate blood, what are the top 3 or 4 reasons you give them to say, hey, this is why you should do it?
Yeah, so I get that question a lot too. People are like, I'm scared of needles. Why should I really do it? And things like that. And what I try and tell them is that if you had the power to save a life right now, right today, would you? And that's I kind of put it in their hands to make the decision, but it's just, and then I kind of harp on, it's really nice. It feels really great at the end of the day to know that you have been a part of something that could save someone's life ultimately in the end.
So donating blood, saving a life.
Yeah.
What better reason do you need than that, right? Huh? Let's go back to this, and I think you kind of touched on it. How long do you have to wait between giving blood, and how often can someone donate blood?
So you can donate as much as you want to, as long as when you donate, if you give basically what we call as singles, which would be that 1 pint of blood that we talked about, you would have to wait 56 days until you could donate again. And then if you give what's called doubles, which is double the amount, you would have to wait 112 days. So the 56 days will double for you, and that's the next time that you will be eligible to donate.
Just to recap, because we're getting towards the end of our show today. So let's go over the eligibility requirements, okay? And also the process and the amount of blood that is taken from you when you donate blood.
Sure. So the eligibility requirements, they kind of vary, so that we always tell people to call the line. It's 1-866-236 3276. And the blood drive process, you come in, if you've done your rapid pass, you get to sit and then you go to your health history section. And then after the health history is done, that's when the blood donation process begins. And it takes about 45 minutes to an hour. So you want to kind of cut that time into your day to make sure you have it available. And what was the last part?
That's
Was there
okay.
another
No,
question?
no, you're
Okay.
good. You're good. One more time, Bree Rogers, a blood drive coordinator with the GBMC Healthcare System. Our next blood drive is Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
February
See?
14th, Thursday. There it is, right up there at the GBMC Civiletti Conference Center. And for more information, gbmc.org/Red Cross. Bree, I forgot to ask you, how long have you been doing this as the blood drive coordinator?
Oh, gosh. So probably about a year and a half, maybe 2 years now. I kind of lose track because we do so many, and I don't really count it as time.
Right.
But yeah, so about 1.5 to 2 years, I got to work underneath of Kim Davenport, who was very influential in teaching me all the ins and outs of running a blood drive, because she was truly there from the beginning, and she really built this program up to where it was. So it's really an honor to kind of take it over and continue that for her.
Well, I can tell you, you've been doing an excellent job in your capacity as the blood drive coordinator, so many kudos to you. Again, contacting about finding out more about our blood donor program, again, gbmc.org/Red Cross.
Yep.
And again, if you have any questions, Bree's going to be with us for about another minute or so. Please post your questions in the comment section on our Facebook page, or if our studio audience has any questions, please feel free to put them forward. One last question, one that was asked earlier about the eligibility requirements, about someone that can donate. Let's go over that one more time. Who cannot, or who is pretty much ineligible to donate?
So if you have low iron, you're probably going to be deferred, which is why we encourage you to eat your spinach and eat your steaks and, drink your water and make sure you have a meal before coming to donate. So that's one of the reasons that our donors get turned away, is because they have low iron. And then there's other eligibility requirements. There's kind of like a little bit of a laundry list that I don't know off the top of my head, but like I said before, it's always safe to just call that number and find out, hey, I have this going on, am I able to donate? And they'll be able to tell you. And that number is 1-866-236-3276.
Oh, we just had a question that came in, and I'm probably going to say it's going to best be answered in Greater Living Live when we have a representative from the American Red Cross here. But how does someone find out if their iron levels are low?
Yeah, that's probably a
Yeah,
question
I thought
for
so.
our Red
But I had
Cross.
to ask it. I had to
Yeah.
ask it anyway. All right, Bree Rogers, blood drive coordinator with the GBMC Healthcare System, joining us today, talking about what we're doing to address the blood shortage here in our area. Again, our next blood drive is Thursday,
February 14th.
There it is, at the Civiletti Conference Center, 5:30 to 4:30. For more information, go to gbmc.org/Red Cross. I want to thank you, Bree, for joining us today, and I want to thank our audience and those watching us on Facebook Live for our program today. And again, please, if you got a heart, donate some blood. You can remember the date. It's easy at GBMC, Thursday, February 14th, okay? Next month, we're going to continue this discussion with Mary Beth Marsden on Greater Living Live coming up right after us. Hey, Mary Beth, how are you? Happy New Year. I like the Reds. Very nice. Nice touch. Next month on To Your Health, we're going to be talking about kids and diabetes. And right now, what we find is that most kids have been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, but now the trend is turning that they're also being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which is adult onset. So we're going to have somebody come in on our program to talk about kids and diabetes and what we can do to address that big health issue here in our country. Again, more details on that to follow on the GBMC Facebook page, so please keep your eye on that to find out more. Until the next time, cheers and to your health.
Nice.